Hey friends, Sam Haymart for Test Driven TV. Today's the big day, my first chance behind the wheel, the all-new 2015 Mustang GT. It's a very short drive, just a first quick drive, so let's get right to it. All right, let's go. First driving the 2015 Mustang GT. Woo! Woo! All right, so I'll let the cat out of the bag just a little bit. I did drive the EcoBoost a little earlier. And my first impression when I got behind the wheel of that is very similar to this. This big hood is just really a major piece of the experience. And of course, the sound this car has, wow. So we've got our first stoplight here. Now we're in traffic, okay? We're not at a racetrack. I can't test the launch control or the burnout program that it's got. We're gonna have to be relatively good here in traffic. But so far, I'm sitting here. I like this new interior. It very much looks class. I mean, just the center stack, the quality, the look and the feel and touch of it is miles above what the old Mustang had. And the old Mustang had this thing where, you know, in the base rental car version, it always seemed like it was right in its own element. But if you started optioning that car up into a 40 or a 50,000, even with a Shelby, a $60,000, $65,000 car, well, all of those trappings on the interior and the trim really felt out of place. I think this is a car that when we have the upper versions coming at us later, this interior isn't going to feel cheap and out of place. Woo! It just has a really nice sound. This engine revs out quite nicely. I haven't had the chance yet to really put some power to that rear axle and see how the new suspension reacts. But already, just driving this car down the road, the chassis has a much sharper and a much more modern feel than the old Mustang did. One of the areas they talked about improving on this new car is the shifter. The 6-speed shifter in the last generation is known for being a little hinky. Here it is improved somewhat. It's still a little bit on the rubbery side, and I think most people that really find themselves into driving a lot, especially high performance driving, they're still going to probably want to replace this shifter. Okay, let's launch again. Now, what I'm noticing already is when you throw power at that new independent rear suspension, it's a lot tighter than the old live axle used to be. And I know the drag racers, they love their live axle, and I've gotten plenty of ribbing for bitching about the thing myself. But you know something? The rest of us live in the real world. We drive on streets, we have bumps, we go on windy roads that are irregular, and you know what? This independent rear suspension is 10 times better in terms of accuracy and traction outside of the world of drag racing. And so when you shift gears and you throw that power back to it, it just snaps too. You don't get any of that kind of rumble and rap that the old live axle used to give you. And granted, I know it's the best a live axle has ever gotten, but it's still a live axle. Our drive's short, and we're gonna get on the freeway here. Slow down so I don't get a speeding ticket. Now again, the sound on this car is just pretty sweet. It's not quite as loud as the old car was, even though the sound that's coming into the cabin here is a little more engineered. It seems a little quieter to me. And of course, riding down the freeway now at speed, the chassis feels, again, a lot more modern. It's got the sharpness that you expect from a modern car. The steering here, I've got it set on normal. I didn't go for all of the several adjustments that you can do because I just didn't have the time to go through all of that here today. But it's just got a nice feel to it. Let me get out of this guy's way. He's trying to get over. Yeah, I could get used to this. Now this 5-liter V8, very very close to the 5-liter V8 that was in last year's model, although it has had quite a few enhancements, particularly in the intake tract, and those technicals we can get into another day. But it definitely seems to breathe a lot better. It's a lot happier to rev, and it just has a very nice power curve to it. When you throw it in and start revving it, it doesn't have that little bit of hesitation that the last one had. It's just happy to rev right out there. In fact, it almost feels like it's got a slightly a lighter flywheel in it because it seems to rev a little freer, but that may or may not be. I'm just speaking purely out of the seat of my pants, and I'm sure some of you might have a different terminology for that. The chassis just has a nice supple feel to it. The GT hasn't been known as being the most aggressively suspended car in the past. It's usually sort of an all-around daily driver type of high-performance suspension, and so it's got a pretty soft ride, but it's still tight enough to feel precise. It certainly isn't boaty at all. Yeah, this new shifter's not bad. Now, these Recaro seats are, of course, a pretty sizable option. They're sort of a bittersweet thing. I love them myself. I love the way they feel. I love the way they hold you. If you're over 200 pounds, and I've been there and in these seats, it's a little snug, but if you're under 200 pounds, they're great. So there's kind of a magic line there where, depending on who you are, you might like them or you might not, living in them every day. The only negative part about them, of course, they're manually adjustable. So if you share the car with somebody who's a different size than you and you normally have to adjust seats every time you get in and out of the car, that would be a little extra layer of inconvenience. But if you don't have that to worry about, I think they're definitely worth the price because they feel completely different and they really almost transform the experience driving behind the wheel. Well, there you have it, folks. My first test drive of the all-new Mustang GT. We'll have a far more detailed review a little later down the road when we get the car for a little bit longer time. But for now, one word: modern. Until then, I'm Sam Haymart for Test Driven TV. I hope you enjoyed the ride.